everybody, welcome to Take the Black Live. We are back after a 2-week break. We being Dan Selcke of winteriscoming.net and
me, Mia Johnson, entertainment editor at fansided.com. I think I remember my position. It's been like 2 weeks.
It has been a while.
What do I do?
We have been, I'm a writer of some kind. We've been away for 2 weeks, and we've done a lot of stuff in that time.
Yeah.
And we're glad to see everybody back. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We're eager to get back into it.
Yeah.
Obviously, we did a lot of stuff over the break. We watched a lot of stuff. We're looking forward to watching a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. And before we dive in, I'd like to put out one shameless plug for reviews and 5-star ratings on iTunes and Google Play, and then get into it. First of all, hey, everybody out there. I'm glad so many people are joining us today.
Yeah.
Hey, Julie Davies. Was it Dan's fault? There were some technical difficulties there, Julie. I'm sorry. But I think we're all squared away now, and all there's left to do is laugh and have a good time and talk about 2019 and 2020 in the world of sci-fi, fantasy, Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire, media, entertainment, television, movies, maybe comics, I don't know, haikus, and see what
Whatever
happens.
suits our fancy.
Hey, Isabel. Hey, Terry. Good to see you all, guys. I hope you all guys have a good time over the past 2 weeks. We haven't been away, but I'm eager to... First of all, I thought we'd just start out with saying what we watched over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I want to hear what you guys watched, too. Because let's just start. Let's get out of the way. Okay, look.
Yeah.
There's a movie that came out a couple of weeks ago. It was called Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, Episode 9. I don't know how those go.
That did happen, didn't
it? It did. It set off a whole lot of discussion, a whole lot of debate, some controversy. Mia, you're a Star Wars fan. You saw it. I saw it. Let's just do it right at the top.
Yeah.
What did you think of Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker?
You know what? I will have to say I was one of those fans who did not love it.
Okay.
What a shock. I will say I was not over the hills about it. I did. Seeing it the second time, though, was a little more fun. And I think I think psychologically it had something to do with the first time I was sitting in the back of the theater and I was I read all the spoilers and I was I already know what's going to happen. But for the second time around, I sat closer to the front of the theater. It was might have been a larger screen, but it felt like I was in the movie. I was wow, this is really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
So I guess that kind of influenced me, but how did you feel about it?
I mean, I have such an interesting relationship with Star Wars for me because if I wasn't doing this job and so tapped into the conversation, I'm pretty sure I would have seen it, said, that was fine, and then go about my day. It's kind of what happened with The Last Jedi, too. I saw it, I said, that was fine, and then I, kept on doing other things. Because I am so tapped into the discourse, and people saying, this was bad, and this was bad, and this was great, and this was right, and why did they do that? I have developed some opinions on it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I thought it was fun. I thought it was a good watch. I didn't have any giant problems with it. Yeah. I mean, okay, here's the thing with Star Wars.
Well, okay, Isabel says no spoilers.
Oh,
we'll dance around it as much as possible.
Yes. Okay.
But if not, just close your ears just a little bit.
I mean, I think we can say the thing that's right at the top, which is in the trailers and everything, is that. Sorry, people don't want to hear this, but that Palpatine is back.
Yeah.
That's pretty well known,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, it was a given, yeah.
So look, I guess I don't hold Star Wars to a very high standard when it comes to really high quality writing. I don't feel like it's really that.
I think they had
the
Batman v Superman script writer on this, which was already taking a one trip train into Trouble City.
So they did? Oh, really? It was Chris Terrio?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if I thought Star Wars was supposed to be a really tightly plotted, wonderfully written epic, then I would say, yeah, it's stupid to bring back Emperor Palpatine because they're clearly backpedaling.
Yeah.
They clearly just... It baffles me that they didn't plan this trilogy out beforehand, but they clearly didn't. So they're trying to get a new big bad in there at the 11th hour, even though you should have just been Kylo Ren the bad guy. But it almost feels dumb to say that because it's just Star Wars. It's you go and they do the swoosh swoosh and it's fun. It's a good time.
I think it's because it's so old and it's this legacy fandom now. It means so much to these people. And I don't know if it's to the point where it's beyond being able to please anyone, but Yeah, it's
I don't buy that.
yeah, it's really hard because I was thinking about like I was like, well, okay, they had a lot on their shoulders and they had to wrap up everything and all da. But then I was like, okay, but I did enjoy Endgame, which was kind of like the same idea of like wrapping things up. So I'm like, what went wrong?
There were problems. That whole I'm gonna say it. That whole you can't please everyone line, like it's technically true, but it is spiritually false. Like you can please a significant portion of the fan base. Endgame didn't. Game of Thrones and Star Wars did not do it, and we can say why. With Star Wars, I have a hard time feeling really down on it because I don't feel it's ever really deserved like really close scrutiny the way people do it. But yeah, it was done by Palpatine. I do believe that it was done, but I don't really care that much because I'm just there for the popcorn.
And have you seen the rumors about like the Abrams cut? Like first was the Snyder cut, now there's the Abrams cut where there's like this whole supposed drama that like Disney wanted to make it a bunch of fan service and like all the things that fans would have supposedly wanted was what J.J. Abrams wanted, and Disney was like, no, we're not gonna do this.
I call complete bull on it, by the way. There is none. All of that, a lot of it sounded wrong, and a lot of it was just like the way you make movies. Like, look, on a movie that costs $300 million to make, you don't get total artistic control. Like, you make compromises. You cut this thing out and you put that thing in. Like, that thing was like selling it as a conspiracy, who shot Kennedy kind of thing. But no, that's just how a movie is made.
It is, yeah, it is. It's things move around, change, you know, you get like a test audience, change again after that. But
you know what anything else to say about the Rise of Skywalker? Can we move on?
I would like to move on.
Okay. Jen's been watching, in case watching You on Netflix. You watch You at
I've
all?
heard of that one. I have a lot of friends who watch that. They've been like spoiling it on Facebook, so like, is it even worth it?
Folks seem to love it a lot.
Yeah.
So I should watch it. I do have some friends who have watched it, and it looks really cool, but I haven't gotten around to it myself. And Hunter thinks that Batman vs Superman was great. Justice League was as well. I have no idea people don't like them. Shaking my head.
Ooh, I haven't really seen them. I like Batman v Superman.
I didn't mind it.
I was surprised. Justice League, I'm still like, yeah.
It's kind of like Star Wars for me. It's like I don't go into those movies really expecting them to be great. So like when one really kind of does rise above, it's nice.
Yeah.
But like it's so hard for me to watch Batman vs Superman and be like, well, that was just horrible below my expectations. Like I wasn't expecting that much.
Like relax, it's just a fun movie.
But like if I go in and I see Black Panther, I'm like, okay, that's like really good.
Yeah.
But like I guess it's nice. Like my expectations are pretty low for that kind of.
That's fine. I wish I could be like that.
If that's on me or on them or
no,
what.
Enjoy your life, please. I wish I could be like that.
Like Game of Thrones, my expectations were very high.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason I'm a little upset about that. Mm-hmm. But for big budget, splashy things like that, I can't. Okay.
Yeah,
What else did you watch over the break, Mia?
Did you want to discuss The Witcher? Because
I'll talk about it briefly. Yeah. It definitely made some waves. People seem to be liking it. You said you watched an episode.
I watched the first episode, and at first I made it through like the first 3 minutes. And
so
it was
were out.
To me, it was so aggressively fantasy, more so than Game of Thrones. And I was like,
goes there.
It was kind of like, jumping into an ice bath. I was like, I don't want this. But then I was like, no, I'll give it. I came back a little bit later and I was like, no, I'll give it a second try. And it was fine. It almost gave me Game of Thrones vibes. But by the end, I was kind of like, I don't really care what happens by the end of this story. So I was like, I might finish it, but I was fine with just one episode.
I mean, I won't get into all the details. Like Martha says right now, I couldn't follow The Witcher, and that's definitely a problem I think a lot of people will have.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not going to get into everything, but they do a thing with where there are multiple characters and they're all in different timelines. They're all going separately. It's just this show is not good enough to pull off something like that. It just isn't. You know what it reminded me of? Again, you might be too young for this. There were in the 90s these cheesy fantasy shows like Hercules: The Legendary Journeys and Xena Warrior Princess. It was really giving me that. But if those shows had a lot more money to be made with.
Ooh.
It was fun. I enjoyed The Witcher. I enjoyed watching it. I thought it was a good time. Mm-hmm. It was simultaneously very lowbrow.
Yeah.
And very kind of cheesy, where they have it's just hard to have elf ears and dragons and castles and kind of very obvious fantasy trappings, but with like modern language and like really cheesy jokes. But at the same time, you're gonna try and do a triple timeline thing. That is like that's like a Westworld move. That is like a prestige. So you haven't remotely
That's hardcore.
That.
That's really top tier stuff. And I'm like, I really didn't want to.
The nudity is really gratuitous later on too. It gets into that bit.
Wow.
It's such a strange combination of like extreme fantasy cheese.
Yeah.
And art house pretensions, kind of. That's how I would say it.
Ooh.
Like there's a fun show in there. I don't know if they really got to it, but I will say this: people and Julie says love Hercules and Xena. So did I, Julie. I really enjoyed Hercules and Xena back in the day. But those shows, like, they knew they were goofy. And they were fine with it.
Yeah.
The Witcher, I think, is goofy and is trying to, but it wants to be very, very serious.
Take itself seriously, yeah.
It was a weird watch.
Yeah. Well.
Folk did seem to like it, though. It's gotten very positive blowback.
Yeah.
I don't think it might. Sorbo was real hot. Also agreed.
I did see.
He went crazy later in life, though.
Ooh. Apparently, I don't know who had reported it, but it was like The Witcher is the most talked about over The Mandalorian, or was like better than it. I was like, how is that possible?
It's most in demand.
In demand.
Which means that basically people are saying the most on Twitter, I want to watch The Witcher. We don't know. It's a very like slippery metric.
Yeah.
We're not really sure.
Streaming metrics are always just like, this could be true, it could be not true.
And Julie says, which is also true, wouldn't cut it now, though, which is, I don't know if she referred to Kevin Sorbo's hotness or Hercules Legendary Journeys in general. It did feel like a holdover. It felt like it was strange.
Yeah.
I'd watch season 2. I think they need to kind of rethink how they're writing some stuff. And folk do enjoy it. I do think if this had been like season 4, it would have been torn apart. I think the novelty factor helped.
Oh, Witcher.
Kenny, what a great segue. I liked The Mandalorian better.
Yeah.
So did I, Kenny.
Yeah.
Did you watch the end of that?
I did. I watched the whole thing. I'm so proud of myself.
Now, that show, I think, is great.
Yeah, all the way through. Yeah. The finale, I don't know if anybody cares about spoilers, so I won't go all the way. I would say the finale was kind of like, maybe not one of the strongest season finales in like TV history, but it did still leave you wanting more about like, Baby Yoda and what are they going to do next. And I absolutely love Cara Dune, and that was one of my favorite characters. So it was a great ride for me.
I thought the finale did a good job of honestly paying off some stuff that we'd seen. Like those middle kind of standalone episodes where they were kind of just going on solo adventures, they really kind of, you needed those because then when everybody got back together at the last 2 episodes, it was very cathartic and exciting. Like, oh, now we're getting to it.
Yeah, finally.
That was fun. And put it in a fun new direction. And just, I wasn't a second of that show I wasn't like engaged or enjoying watching.
Yeah.
It was just good. I love how simple it is. Like, if The Witcher is trying to, like, we're going to do 3 timelines for no real compelling reason, The Mandalorian's like, no, we're going to have half-hour episodes. We tell a straightforward story. Just talk to a few of these characters. We're going to develop them well. They're going to be well-acted, well-written, and just soulfully performed. And it just really, really worked. The action was terrific.
Yeah,
Only got the TIE fighter fight? Come on, man.
Oh, no, I didn't want to. I was going to say something spoilery, but I won't. But yeah, the TIE fighter, that was awesome. And then what I was going to say is that I think that what separates The Mandalorian from Star Wars, which is kind of what people have been like, I'm so over Star Wars, but not Mandalorian, is that I'm pretty sure Jon Favreau, creator or whatever, had a roadmap for the series.
Yes.
And how that played out was that they also had a new director for like every episode basically, so like Taika Waititi and Bryce Dallas Howard. So like when you have that roadmap, it makes it easier for them to be like, okay, I know what is going on, and then I can hand it off to the next person.
There needs to be a person steering the tugboat.
Yeah.
There needs to be a person in charge. A showrunner is that person.
Yeah.
And like for that Star Wars trilogy, they just made it up as they went. It boggles my mind that they could do that. That they could say like, we're going to spend upwards of $1 billion making this making this trilogy of movies. We're not the story, what's going to happen. We'll figure it out.
Well, whatever comes to mind, we'll just, as we film.
How could that happen?
Yeah, I can't.
I don't get it.
I would like to know what was the thinking behind that. Like, I'm going to introduce these new characters, but I'll leave it up to fate to figure out where they want to go with it.
Julie, really quickly, I want to speak to you, Julie, really fast, because you said, and I felt like this too, I really did. I wanted to watch Mandalorian until I found out it was associated with Star Wars. Julie, I just want to say, I am not a Star Wars person. I've seen the movies, but just I have to because I'm in this job and just they're so big. I was fully expecting to just kind of like a Star Wars show. Great, it's going to be whatever. I honestly enjoyed it because it doesn't associate itself with anything else Star Wars.
Yeah,
which makes me afraid, by the way, because there has been reports that there's been going to be like Skywalker Saga Legacy characters in season 2, and I'm like, oh, please no.
Yeah, it's like, I think as a Star Wars fan, it's rewarding to see those kinds of things like pop up as like, little Easter eggs and stuff.
Sure.
But like,
nothing wrong with that.
As a whole, it's no different, I think, from like watching just regular old Lord of the Rings it's like it's creating its own world.
Yes.
Which just so happens to have stemmed out of, all of Star Wars.
Yeah, so, it is. I agree. So
it's a pretty it's a low barrier of entry for like anybody who wants to watch it.
Which is why I don't want them to get it mixed up in that nonsense that is happening with the rest of the universe. Yeah. By the way, speaking of Mandalorian really quickly, there is a season 2 coming, and Jon Favreau, and as a Star Wars fan might be able to help with this, tweeted this something or other. What the hell is that? Do you have any idea?
Look at that walking pig man. That I don't know how this is gonna tie into the Mandalorian because we saw this type of character in episode 6, I believe. I'm looking at so this thing is called a Gamorrean, but you probably wouldn't know that anyway. He had I think he was wearing a helmet on Jabba. So he works for Jabba the Hutt.
Okay.
And he's kind of like one of the guards. So I guess they've got like a whole race of these walking pig people. So I don't know, Mandalorian might go to their planet. I don't think they're going to go to like Tatooine.
I mean, there could
Jabba's,
be Gamora whatever's all over the place. Y'all don't know.
A little Marvel crossover with this species.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, that's
that.
one of those things where it's like a fun throwback to the people who love Star Wars and all of that. But like, if you don't know what that is, it's fine.
Okay. I think I'm gonna wax for us a little bit more about Mandalorian because I just love so much. Because Kenny had almost said that Pascal did a great job. The actor Pedro Pascal who played the Mandalorian, he did with no face.
Oh yeah,
which is that's very remarkable to me. The two heroes of this show are a guy who has a helmet on all the time and a puppet. And they managed to make a satisfying narrative out of it. That's very impressive. Yeah. I was impressed.
Oh, yeah. No, Pascal was really awesome.
Okay. I also, over the break, I caught up on Fleabag, which I think is as good as people will say it is. Maybe not that good, because I'm like, it irritated me they were giving like Best of the Decade awards to that show when it was coming out like last year. I'm like, okay, whatever. But it was really, really good. Succession is good. I'm still watching that. Anything else you watched that you watched over the break?
I watched Dracula. I am a Sherlock fan.
I heard some mixed things about
recovering Sherlock
that.
fan. I got through the first, okay, so it's 90 minutes, 3 episodes, but I did enjoy the first episode. I was like a little like, I don't think I want to watch this because of like all sorts of reasons, but I was pleasantly surprised for the first episode. I'll say that much.
Cool.
And then I finally got around to watching a non-Disney movie in the theaters.
Why?
Because my soul is tethered to Disney. But so they graciously allowed me to see another movie, which was Knives Out. Maybe because it was Rian Johnson and he directed Star Wars, Last Jedi. So maybe they were like, okay, you can see this. I really, really love Knives Out. And I almost wish Daniel Craig had gotten the awards win for that. And also one of the other one, she plays the girl. She played
Scarlett Johansson?
No, not Scarlett. Please no. But it was a really, really great film, so I'm glad that I was finally able to see a movie that wasn't Disney. So I would recommend Knives Out if you haven't seen it already. It's been out for a while now.
I'd like to. Yeah, I heard it was really good. Terry asked what about Outlander and Lodge 49? I'm going to watch Lodge 49. I'm going to do that. Outlander, I know is coming up in February, I think. The season 5. We'll definitely have someone on here to talk about it. But I can't speak to it in any kind of intelligent way. Speaking of wanting people in the awards, you watched the Golden Globes on Sunday.
I did. That was in
Where they snubbed Game of Thrones again.
Yeah, sorry,
I mean,
Kit.
for the 8th time round, might as well be consistent.
Sorry, Kit. Yeah, it was. I mean, the Golden Globes are the Golden Globes. Like, if I had the choice, I would probably not watch it. But for the sake of, everything, I was like, it's my job, so I'm going to watch it. And we tweeted throughout the night. To me, the two biggest things were they gave away two, really prestigious awards. One of which was Tom Hanks. He won the Cecil B. DeMille Award, which is like a whole lifetime achievement thing. So yeah, he was up there. He had this quote where he was talking about how when he was a young actor, young intern back in the day. This is what he said. I thought it was really funny. Cool. He said 1,000 years ago in 1977, when I was an intern at the Great Lakes Shakespeare Festival, in my first professional job, we all got yelled at by the director. We had partied a little bit too much the night before. We were showing up for rehearsals and he screamed at us. He said, "Hey, look, you guys, you're actors. You know what your job is? You've got to show up on time, and you have to know the text, and you have to have a head full of ideas. Otherwise, I can't do my job." And he says that was the greatest lesson a young actor could possibly ever get. And to me, it seems so funny that somebody could you don't know it's the great Tom Hanks, but being yelled at for not being a good actor, hey, learn your freaking lines.
Hey, he wasn't good at one point.
Yeah, we all learn, we all grow.
I went to Wikipedia and looked up there was a picture of him as a 19-year-old in a puffy Shakespeare doublet.
Aww.
On a stage going It was very sweet. I enjoyed his speech.
But I think it's a well-deserved award for him.
Yeah,
he's got all these things. He was mentioning that he was in what was that? The Love Boat. And I was like, wow, that's something I obviously didn't know. But, obviously he had all those other movies. So I was going to ask you if you had a favorite Tom Hanks movie.
Oh, sure. I mean, I did think about that. And just, there have been a lot of great ones. There's no way I can't say Forrest Gump, though.
Yeah.
I know it's cliche, but I can't help it. I watched that movie a lot when I was younger. I do think I've watched it in a while. I wonder if it holds up. I bet it does.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I thought it was an iconic performance.
It was really great.
He had plenty of good
I was going to
ones,
say,
though.
you know what, as a side note, Tom Hanks had the best reactions for GIFs or reaction images on Twitter, mainly to Ricky Gervais' monologue, which I was I really didn't want to bring up his monologue.
Money Pit says Jen, yes. That's a good one.
Oh, Money Pit. Yeah. But he was making the absolute best faces that night. But you know what? I think I was gonna say Forrest Gump was my favorite too, only because I don't know. It's just
the
so
scope of that.
Yeah,
movie.
It's just such a weird. Oh, I always liked Big. When I was a kid,
classic, yeah.
I don't think I know what happens in that movie, but as a kid, I was just so enamored with the idea of it that I was like,
that's adorable.
I wish that could happen to me. Now I don't feel so much.
Gonna go troll abandoned amusement parks for weird gypsy kiosks.
But yeah, so that was.
I want to be rich.
That. That was that. And then there was also the second award of that night was Ellen DeGeneres, which she got the Carol Burnett Award for TV excellence. And actually,
fun fact, I didn't realize that Carol Burnett was alive.
You know what? I was almost she was sitting at the table at the Golden Globes.
I'm like, that's her.
I was like, oh, that's her. She's still around.
Sorry, Carol. Good for you.
But I wanted to show a clip from Kate McKinnon, who introduced the Ellen.
Cool. Roll it.
She risked her entire life and her entire career in order to tell the truth, and she suffered greatly for it. Of course, attitudes change, but only because brave people like Ellen jump into the fire to make them change. And if I hadn't seen her on TV, I would have thought, I could never be on TV. They don't let LGBTQ people on TV. And more than that, I would have gone on thinking that I was an alien and that I maybe didn't even have a right to be here. So thank you, Ellen, for giving me a shot.
Yeah, so I thought that was just a really cute, sweet clip. And obviously I like being a comedy person too. I love Ellen. I love Kate McKinnon. And I don't know, it was enough to make me a little, get a little emotional about, how much that meant to her. Did you see both of the speeches?
Oh yeah, I watched them after you told me to.
You did your homework. Yeah.
Exactly.
How did you feel? I think I personally liked Kate's speech better, maybe because it was just like more like personal towards Ellen. And Ellen's speech was funny too, just like, hey, this is my career and I'm gonna be funny about it. But I think I more so like Kate's speech because she talked about how Ellen was a trailblazer, and for her that was inspirational.
It was definitely
Yeah.
emotional, inspirational. I mean, yeah, I got a little emotional about it. I preferred Ellen's because I don't like my emotions. I like to shut them way, way down and not deal with them. So I appreciated that she was just cracking jokes left and right the entire time, thanking her husband. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, her husband.
But yeah, I definitely appreciate the power of the moment and
Yeah.
the importance of the moment.
Yeah. Maybe because
I mean, God, it is weird to think that. I mean, I remember when Ellen came out on her show, and that show did not last very long after that. And the idea that it was unthinkable to do that back then, and to see like kind of how far the industry or the country has come in not that long.
Yeah.
It is a little humbling to just kind of take a step back and go like, whoa, a lot happened.
to me
Impressive
that
seconds.
like maybe because it's like just like a half generation off, that all like to me it never made sense. It's like, why would they do something like that?
Sure.
But I mean, yeah, I think it was
mean,
very brave of her too.
It's hard to think of like how they could just been like that now.
Yeah.
Like I grew up when it was like that, but like it was great to see that change.
Yeah.
It's like everyone woke up one day and realized like, oh, well, that's stupid to be that bigoted against people who don't have any, who aren't dangerous at all.
Yeah, it's like we're still, even
Like,
as an industry,
I don't want to say we're done. We're not.
There's a long way to go, but I think that's part of the reason, obviously, why Ellen won that award in the first place. So,
also, I mean, we could mention her recent run-in with President George W. Bush, but I don't think we should, right? Let's get over that. Just glide on over it.
let's just the
Okay.
good stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, that was the Golden Globes. It was a night. It happened. I think people are obviously looking more forward to the Oscars, but
Of course. By the way, Julie, why are you saying Brad Pitt 3 times?
oh yeah,
Just because? I mean,
because of the money pit. Oh, that's Moneyball. Yeah, I was like, I know he made a movie about money. I guess we'll get our answer soon, but
oh, and you're right. And they both give shout out to Australia for the wildfires, and we can do
they
that
did,
too.
yeah. They gave a shout out to Australia. A lot of celebrities now are donating. Like I saw Chris Hemsworth and a couple others.
I saw that too, yeah.
Yeah.
And we give our sympathies as well. So our final topic of the evening, morning, whatever you're watching it right now. So 2020, it's here. This is the first show of the new
How?
year. We saw what we saw over the break, including the Golden Globes. What if you were to pick like 2 to 3 things looking forward to in 2020?
Okay.
In terms of movies, TV, books. Books. What would they be?
My list would be, first off, this is like a collective, so Wonder Woman, Birds of Prey, Black Widow, all like, female superhero movies coming out this year.
Very nice.
What a
very
great
clever.
year.
Way to bundle.
Also, like I said, because my soul is tethered to Disney, they've got like at minimum 4 movies that I care about. They've got Jungle Cruise.
What is Jungle Cruise?
It's based off of the ride from Disneyland.
So it's like Pirates of the Caribbean, or
Yeah,
the Haunted
yeah.
Mansion?
It's like them, literally adapting a Disney park ride into a movie, and it's kind of like it almost is like Jumanji because it stars The Rock and Emily Blunt.
Of course it does.
And it's like they're going down this river and they've got I really don't know what it's about, but because it's Disney and it's based off of the ride, and I love the ride actually, it is pretty, it looks interesting to say the least.
Cool, okay.
They've also got Pixar stuff like Onward and with like Tom
Soul,
Holland and
yeah.
Soul. And
Yeah, I
then,
can remember that.
what else was I looking forward to? I think on my list I threw in like Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
You did?
Just because. I was like,
You
I am
psyched?
kind of into that. I am kind of into it.
You also had Mulan, as long as the Disney
Mulan,
remakes
yeah,
go.
I did have Mulan as well because it's their next live action movie, the ones that they keep on rolling out. So I'm interested to see how that plays out because it's like taking a different tone from the original cartoon, which was more like song and dance and all
Which
that.
I'm into. Like, I will say this
Yeah.
for these Disney live action remakes things. I am looking forward to Mulan.
Yeah.
So I saw Beauty and the Beast remake. I thought it was, a remake of the movie, but live action. They're all talking to the clock scene. I skipped The Lion King. I skipped Aladdin. I skipped Beauty and the Tramp. It's just like they all seem like, okay, we're gonna remake these things, but what if they weren't as good? Like that was kind of their mission statement. This looks interesting to me.
Yeah.
Like this looks like they're not just straight remaking it. They're gonna take a different tone with it. They're gonna do something a little different with it. This I plan to see. I think this looks interesting.
It does. Yeah, it does. I did though. I will say I really like seeing Aladdin in theaters. Again, it was like one of the things.
I'm sure I'd enjoy it. I just didn't think it was like.
It was like I felt like I was like in the movie because it was like such a big screen and I was like up into it. I was like, wow, this is amazing. But Lion King, Lion King was really just the animated movie with different animation effects. I also did have a picture for
like, what if it's worse?
Yeah, basically. I did have a picture for Onward because that looked kind of interesting that we could pull up.
Talking about because fantasy stuff.
Yeah, talking about fantasy in the animated realm. So it's basically like if the people, like the creatures from fairy tale, stories and all that, were put in like a modern setting. So what if they drove cars and, lived in the suburbs and all of that?
Like, that sounds like, it reminds me of that horrible Netflix Will Smith movie called Bright. You watched that? It sucked. It was basically that, but live action. It sounds kind of like a high concept thing.
Yeah.
It's Pixar. I will trust whatever the hell they do. So
yeah, pretty much. It's got, like I said, Tom Holland, Chris Pratt plays his brother.
And Julia Louis-Dreyfus as the mother.
Yeah. So, again, I am morally obligated to go see this movie.
I'll see the hell out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds a little hokey, but I mean, Pixar always, even if like the premise is like a little, I trust them so hard to do something great with it.
Yeah, unless it's like Cars 2 or something.
The Cars.
That's different.
It's like the one that went off the rails. I think that one like sells a lot though, because like you can literally sell the cars, so that's what they keep making them.
Yeah.
And planes.
Yeah. So what are you looking forward to?
Jen Casey, by the way, wants to see Avatar 2, although I think it's going to be 2021.
Yeah, we've got another year for that. There was that concept art I saw you wrote about it. The Avatar 2. It looks really neat. I'll give them that.
It's very pretty. And Julie, before we just go on, can I answer this question with an unfortunate no? Has there been any casting news for House of the Dragon? Must be close. There has not been. But speaking of House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, Song of Fire, I can say this. One thing I'm looking forward to a little bit is that this is the year, and this is true, you can look this up, that a while ago on his Not a Blog, George R.R. Martin, author extraordinaire, promised, I'm being serious.
Oh, let's hear.
So he's going to like a convention in New Zealand in August, I think. And he said, probably joking, but maybe not, if he does not have The Winds of Winter completed by the time he gets to that convention in August, we have his permission to lock him up on a place called White Island that is a volcanic island with a lake of sulfuric acid, and just keep him there till he finishes. So the news here is, if George R.R. Martin doesn't finish Winds of Winter by August of this year, we can lock him up on an acid lake.
Can this be the one time where I stare into the camera like The Office?
Yes.
And just go, oh, jeez.
I mean, look, it's a joke, obviously, but I thought it was a pretty funny joke. And what if it was true? No, it can't be. It's actually like a really dangerous area, like some tourists died recently.
Ooh, oh.
Why would you go there? I don't know. That's a whole other story.
Boy, okay. Well, we will.
So basically, I'm looking forward to The Winds of Winter, hopefully being released.
We've got 7 months for him to, get his act together.
Before the acid bath. Not really joking, but the other thing I'm looking forward to a lot is right around the corner, actually. I'm really looking forward to Avenue 5, which is this HBO show starring Hugh Laurie about he's like a spaceship captain of a cruise liner in space. Okay, and I know that sounds a little hokey too, but it's from the guy who made Armando Iannucci, who made Veep, which I think is one of the funny shows I've ever watched in my life. I think it's so funny and so grounded and so earthy and so sharp.
Yeah.
It's basically about he's on a luxury space liner in the future, sci-fi, yada, yada, yada. Josh Gad, the snowman from Frozen, is there as like the owner. And, they run aground, that pull a space Titanic, and I think, it'll all descend into chaos.
Yeah.
The kind of workers will rebel against the high passengers who were there. And I'm confident it'll be very, very funny. And I'm just curious to see what he does.
Yeah.
I love that, like, a great comedic mind like that would tackle, like Veep meets Star Trek kind of thing. That sounds great to me.
Star Trek. Yeah, when I was pleasantly surprised when I watched the trailer for it. And I think Hugh Laurie is great too, just like all on his own. So like for this, to put him in this, especially where it looks like a comedic setting, whereas I'm used to seeing him in House, where he's, like very serious and I think I will. I'm glad you pointed me towards this because I think that I'll give that one a chance.
Well, I always like half hour. Like I think it premieres like next week. I always like half hour comedies. They were kind of easily.
Did you say half hour comedy?
I did. I know.
Wow.
Shameful.
No,
he was in Veep, by the way. Hugh Laurie. I think probably that's why
really?
they met him.
Well,
yeah, he played a political rival to Julie Louis-Dreyfus's president. You should watch that too if you find yourself with a spare 80 hours sometime.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm looking forward to that. And I think we would be remiss if we didn't mention the Marvel shows coming up. This is the year that we're going to get.
I can't believe it. Yeah.
Also, nice little surprise. We knew we were going to get The Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Disney Plus with Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie and the whole gang's going to be there. We're also getting, apparently this year, WandaVision.
Yeah, they bumped it up.
Yeah, with Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany. I have these command of names today.
Yay,
this is great.
You got it.
That one I'm looking forward to the most, because that one looks weird.
Yeah, it's going to be really... There's going to be a lot of twists and turns, I think. Obviously, we see it's in this 50s setting, and you're like, wait, why is, Vision back?
Why?
Yeah. So, and then... They've been saying it's supposed to tie into Doctor Strange, which is going to be a horror movie. So how are we going from this 50s, feel good, nuclear family sort of thing to horror movie Doctor Strange? So, and I think there's gonna be some really cool twists and turns.
I say
there.
Get ambitious. I'm not bored.
Oh yeah,
I think that's the key thing.
Yeah,
I think Disney Plus was lucky with The Mandalorian as its big debut, because I think that's been pretty much universally enjoyed.
Oh yeah,
except by Julie, which I think you should watch it if you have time. So that has set them up nicely for other series to come out and to be having, and I think folk are going to give them the benefit of the doubt that these are going to be at least worth watching.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So again, good going, Empire.
Yeah.
You are killing it so far. We'll get you.
Oh boy. Well, yep.
Isabel agrees. They're very excited. Anything else you're excited about to watch this year, Mia? Or anybody out there before we sign off?
Yeah. Oh, we did. Well, this isn't this year, but next year we had in our notes about the whole Christian Bale and Thor.
Oh, there's lots of stuff that happened.
I'm really hoping that happens for real. Colin Farrell is going to be the Penguin in Batman.
Sure.
I'm like, all right. All these casting things, but I'm more so excited for Christian Bale, so I really hope that happens.
Oh, little story. Robert Aramayo, who played young Ned Stark in Game of Thrones, is the lead in the new Lord of the Rings show.
Yeah.
After the last guy dropped out.
Yeah, Will Poulter dropped out, so they're like, throw him in there. I don't know. They didn't really tell us who was playing who or what role. So
he's playing Beldor.
Oh, okay. That means
Beldor. It doesn't mean anything to me either. It's a totally new thing. You remember Beldor?
Oh, sweet Beldor. Oh boy, fond memories.
David Benioff and Dan Weiss. This is a lightning round news thing. David Benioff and Dan Weiss, the showrunners of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Their first follow-up project is directing Leslie Jones' Netflix comedy special. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
How do you direct a comedy special?
I don't know. Cut to this camera then or something. Leslie, be funnier.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
I'm not going to give them a lot of credit on this one. I'm going to give it to Leslie Jones, who I saw give stand-up. She said she liked my hair, and I'm...
No way!
Yeah. She got really in my face, too. She started singing to me. And then I met her kind of at the stage door, and she's like, oh, I like your hair. I was like, thank you.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, Leslie Jones is awesome.
Leslie Jones is great. She must have been amazing live, right?
Yeah.
The kind of energy you see on the screen.
It was a little raunchy. There was a kid in the audience. I don't know why there was a kid in the audience.
Why do I get the Leslie Jones show?
But he had a little...
even the little promo for the comedy special, it was filthy.
He had a pop Ghostbusters for her to sign. So I was like, I guess.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh. So, yeah, so much fun stuff to get off my chest.
As long as we're doing this, might as well hit the last two really quick. Okay, and with the Vampire Chronicles show, it's going to be giant thing. That's not happening anymore on Hulu. It's too bad.
No.
And the next Star Wars movie might be set during the High Republic period, 400 years before the main show, when Yoda's a Jedi. You like that? It's a good idea. Yes, nay.
I don't really know a lot about, like, I feel like a lot of this stuff is from probably the books and stuff. I've only read 2 Star Wars books and they have not dealt with any of that stuff. So, yeah, sure, go wild.
Also, we got Terry saying Willow on Disney Plus. I think it's going to be probably not this year, but in the near future. And The Last Kingdom, says Jen Casey. That's coming. I'm excited for that. That's a great show. All right. Well, we covered a lot of ground. I want to say to Julie, of course, please be safe in Australia and everyone out there. I hope things turn out okay. And vote for us on iTunes and leave us glowing reviews.
5 stars.
5 stars. And we will be back next Wednesday. Welcome to 2020, everybody.
Woo.
Glad to be here. Hope to see you all soon.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.